Abnormally warm winter in March has had many people itching to get out in their gardens, and this morning we have some green and easy tips for everyone with green thumbs. We say good morning to gardening expert and our friend Melinda Myers, here to share some expertise. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, the big question a lot of people have is, can we finally plant those annuals with confidence?
You know, I think March really fooled us all. Even I've had my moments where, wow, it's really nice out here. If you go to the garden center, anything that's outside are things that are ready to go outside. Pansies, for example, these just happen to make it over winter in my pot. Very unusual. Kale is available, and then snapdragons and stock, great for butterflies, and sweet alyssum. Those plants tolerate the cooler temperatures, so if it gets down in the high 20s, you're okay.
But just in case?
Yes, just in case. This is something I've been recommending, and I stocked up just in case everyone took my advice. But this is a product sold as Remay, Harvest Guard, Grass Fast. It lets air, light, and water through, but holds the heat. So when you're gardening, if you push the season a little bit, you loosely cover your plants, anchor the edges with stones or rocks or, you know, boards or anything. The plants provide the support, it traps the heat. If it rains right through. You don't need to water. Also good for insect control later on. So, you know, if you're going to push the season, if you put tomatoes out, you want to buy some of this, because even if it doesn't freeze, it'll warm things up and speed up the harvest.
Okay, good idea. And a lot of us are not used to seeing mums like this.
Exactly. We're used to buying big plants in the fall. We put them in the ground and they don't always make it through the winter. So now garden centers are providing smaller plants that you can put in the garden. My best advice is cut the flowers off.
Really?
I know, it's going to kill you.
Less attractive.
And the goal is to keep them about 6 inches tall through June, but the idea is they'll put down roots instead of top growth and flowers. So they'll bloom for you this fall. They'll really be much hardier and better able to get through. So sometimes adjusting things like planting can increase your gardening success.
And sunlight or shade for these?
Full sun for best results. A little light shade you can push them into, but full sun for best bloom.
Okay, moving down the way, some chemicals.
A new product, an all-natural product. It's in the group called Plant Strengtheners, and this happens to be jazz. And what happens is scientists found that when plants were under stress, they produced certain molecules. They isolated them, applied them to other plants, and it was like a flu shot for us. It made the plants stronger. Not a fertilizer, doesn't make bigger growth, more robust growth. If insects or disease attack, they tend to be able to tolerate the damage. Drought, or if you kind of neglect a little bit, it'll really help you out. So it's a good way to kind of immunize your plants at planting or as soon as a problem occurs.
Now you say this is a new product. Have you had a chance to test this in your garden? Do you know if it works?
I have. And we're going to use it at State Fair at the We Energy Garden this year too. We had a planting that we put in, and it just was labeled in Wisconsin after we'd done our planting. So we have one that needs a little oomph, and because of busy schedules, it didn't get quite the care it needed, and I don't think it will this year. So watch and you can see the results.
And who says drinking and gardening don't go together? I'm looking over here, Melinda, and I see you brought in an empty Corona bottle. And we got an empty wine bottle for a garden. How does this work? What's the tip here?
Okay, well, recycling is all big. So this is a terracotta plant, Manny. You fill your wine bottle. See, great gift. You give a good bottle of wine.
Or glass water bottle.
Right, or glass water bottle. You're right. You don't have to be a drinker. Fill it with water, put it in your containers. The water oozes out and waters the plant. So it's just a way of recycling. The beer, on the other hand, is a tradition not just in Wisconsin for catching slugs. So filling a shallow container with beer, sink it in the ground, the slugs crawl inside. Supposedly they don't drown, but I like to think they drown with a smile on their face. So it's a great way, and it really does work. They've researched this out. I've done it. And a master gardener once told me, empty half a bottle any way you choose, lay it on its side. So when it rains, you don't dilute the beer. Now, you may go, oh, Melinda, your yard's really beautiful here. Slide this under your hostas and the other favorite plants. So it's not really visible, but the slugs do find their way inside. You don't have to change out the beers often, so you don't waste as much of that beverage.
And, on the slugs, why are those bad for our gardens?
They eat holes in hostas especially, but they like cool, dark, damp locations. So shade plants, you'll see big holes in the leaves, so hosta growers have a lot of bad things to say, but they'll also eat other plants. So if you can't stand the damage, you might want to try it. If the beer is a little repulsive, you might try something with iron phosphate. And that's the active ingredient. This is just one brand. There are several out there, but it's a stomach poison. When the slugs eat it, they slime away and die, but if a toad or bird eat them, it won't kill them, which is really important because they're helping us in the garden.
Okay, we have time for one one last quick tip real quickly.
Animals. Scare tactics are an option.
Okay.
If you use repellents, there are natural products like the animal stopper products, even for cats and dogs if your neighbors don't keep their pets in check. Preventative. If you're going to use repellents, read and follow label directions. Apply before feeding or invasion starts, and you'll have better luck. And this is all natural and guaranteed.
Real quickly, if you're going to place this, where's a good place?
You know, I think in the garden and then move it around, because they do kind of catch on. If the rubber snake and the owl don't move, it's probably not real and they'll take their chances.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Melinda, always great to see you. Thanks for the great tips. And if you want more tips from Melinda, she is holding 2 free gardening demonstrations later today from 11 to 1. Melinda, you are at Stein Garden and Gifts near 27th and Grange in Milwaukee, and from 2 until 4, she will be at Stein's near Highway 100 and Beloit in Greenfield. And we will be right back after this.